Turn on that radio and back here. The cops ain't likely to catch up with us, not tonight. So we can all be quiet and peaceable and listen to the music.
This episode of Auto Dealer Live is brought to you by TrueCar.
What's up, guys?
Hi.
What's up, man?
Are we in a delay? Is that why I didn't?
Nope, it's just not showing on the screen, but you know,
Oh, okay.
no, only we know that.
So we're live.
I didn't know.
Lou does it to us every week on purpose.
Yes, he does.
You know, I no longer let
There
it get
we
my.
go.
I no longer let it affect my blood pressure. It's not even going to affect.
Hey.
It's not. You know what? Hey, man, I just.
That's
You know
not
what?
true.
Just huh?
That's not true.
Not really. How do you know? How do you know? I mean,
Because I know.
haven't come to peace with it.
No, you haven't. You're not okay with it. Well,
You know what?
welcome. Huh?
Actually, I love it.
You know,
Actually, I
now
wouldn't
you
know
love
what
it.
to do without it.
You
I
went
wouldn't.
from-
If the show were flawless in the beginning, if we just came on and actually. See,
You'd be like, welcome
Did
to...
you hear that? You didn't hear that.
I'm not sure.
You know what I just did? I went like this, Lou, and my left ear came on. See, we could not say
Okay,
things like
mine
this,
just
and our
came in
audience
and out.
wouldn't know that this like it's kind of cracker jackets right now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm trying to find my left ear.
But I clapped and my left ear came on. Is that just a coincidence?
it's
Yes,
a clapper.
that's a
'Cause, I mean,
total
this is-
coincidence. Obviously, it doesn't just accidentally happen.
Something's going on with my
Like you
left
got
ear.
the, like,
well, I don't know what's
like
going on.
he's got the clapper earphones.
Clapper.
Hey, did you hook up the clapper to our earphones today, Lou?
And
Thanks,
tell
buddy.
me you're going to do that new segment later on. I've fallen and I can't get up.
That's
so I'm
right.
going to do the clapper.
That's right. And the Life Alert, and this episode Audio Live brought to you by Life Alert and the
And then
clapper.
where's the beef over here? Our audience is like, you know what?
I think it's all like Kylan. Kylan?
No, it's not. Look at the man. Look at that.
Kalan.
How do you pronounce his name?
It's Kalan.
Kalan. It's Kalan.
Are we right on that, Lou?
It's like cologne, like cologne.
Like
Kalan.
Like
You should
Kalan,
know the finest of Kalans.
Like Elon Musk.
That's Jovan Musk.
That's
You used
Elon
to rock
Musk.
that, don't you?
Welcome to Auto
Oh,
Dealer
dude,
Live,
I used to
gentlemen.
rock the high karate. That's how far I go back.
That's a thing.
Car Noir.
High karate.
What's up, Matt Lasco, Terrell Lake? We got Terrell Lake on, Kylan Anderson, Derek O'Brien. We got Kevin Campbell. What's up, Kevin Campbell? Kevin Campbell and I are going to the game, ladies and
Come on
gentlemen.
now.
Kevin and his wife, and I'm trying to get my wife to go, Kevin. I mean, I'm going to have to work on her. I don't know. But we got, I'm going to have to give my tickets to the Falcons game on Monday night away because we got some Hall of Fame box seats. Kevin and I, his wife, my
nice.
wife, are going to be sitting in there with the
I'll take
with
those
the-
Falcon
with the
seats.
Super Bowl buck
I've been
players,
trying
huh?
to
Yeah, baby.
Get seats for a
What's
while.
up, Kevin Campbell? We're gonna get John tonight. That John Gruden is inducted into the Ring of Honor. Maybe you and I, Kevin, can team up on John Gruden and try to convince him to come coach the Bucks. You know
Kevin
what I
don't
mean?
care. He's from.
But Kevin and I are collectively are can sell. We could sell, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So what do you guys think? Good show today. You guys ready for it?
I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
I'm
It's been a
not.
great day.
It's gonna be good.
Not
Hey,
really.
I'm gonna go ahead and announce this now because it just happened. We just got it approved this week, and I'm just so excited about it. Very, very excited about it. You guys, you don't even know about this yet.
I
You
guess I
do.
don't.
You've heard me talk about it probably, maybe not. But in April, Digital Dealer is going to be in Orlando. You know, we were at Digital Dealer for seven digital dealers since the fall of 2014. And then in Vegas last year, I had Chicago keynote planned at Ignition One. I had a Hawaii trip. I had several things planned, and we had some boot camps and things like that. So I couldn't go in the fall. So we got together shortly after Digital Dealer in the fall with the team over there, and we just got a keynote approved for. It's going to be an amazing keynote. It's going to be a town hall event, and we pitched this idea. It's going to be a dealer-only town hall, and it's like 10 dealer principals on a town hall riser, and I'm going to be moderating, and we're going to
Nice.
get all owners, and we've got some killer, like guys like Matt Lasco, U.S. Marine, Working on like Jeff Daniels and Jesse Peterson and all these guys, Paul Sansone, John Marazzi, Bill Feinstein, these guys. We're going to get them all on panel, and we're going to be taking questions in from the audience via social media. We're going to be taking questions from you guys, and we're going to have on some upcoming shows, and we're going to talk about 3 incredibly strong topics that we're going to talk more about them, but you don't want to miss it. But I'm very excited about that. It's going to be right in Orlando. You don't want to miss it. And what a keynote that's going to be, huh? Come on, somebody. Who wants to go to that?
Where's it at in Orlando?
It is in the convention center this year. And it's in April, the week of the days around April
Orlando.
10th.
All right, I'll go.
All right, drag you over there to that amazing event.
It's going to be a good show, guys, today. We got a good show. We got a great panel. And we're going to be talking, speaking of the car business, this is how today's show kind of came about. We had some dialogue with Eric Milch, and Eric put out on Facebook prior to our dialogue. He put out just a question and with a video talking about predictions of 2018. Had a lot of comments on this, so we thought we'd make a show and kind of went into the dialogue with Eric and said, hey man, look, let's get some guests on. Let's talk about it. What's up, Chelsea Cross? What's up, Sean Jones, Alyssa Kispert, Lane Cook, Kylan Anderson. We've got some great, Sean Hayes. What's up, brother? And so we're going to talk today about the 2018 predictions and what's going down in the car business. Cribbs, I'm very excited about this topic today, and we've got some really cool guests on today to talk about this.
Yes, we do. And, hey, it's your chance, by the way, to weigh in here on social media as to what you think your predictions are for 2018. And also, are we accepting call-ins today for maybe questions of our guest?
I say yes.
I say yes, too.
Give them the number.
813-574-1820.
You made it to the next
round. We got
round.
another. We made it to the next round. 813-574-1820. Absolutely. Call in. Hey, this is a great opportunity. Any chance to question some of the panels and some of the guests that we have on Auto Dealer Live's amazing opportunity. Make sure that you do that. And again, weigh in with your predictions. We may comment. We'll probably will comment on your predictions on social media for 2018.
I think Lane Cook. I think I did business with Lane Cook. Is that
Lane Cook is with Stokes. What's up,
Stokes,
Lane?
right?
Jerry Blackburn. What's up, Matt Carver? David Villa. What's popping, brother? What's popping, man? What's popping today is some great dialogue with some amazing guests. We have, and it was cool about it. They're all from the Blacktop here, and we've got actually one guest, Joe Webb, and I'm going to say it, Joe Webb. We haven't introduced the guest officially, but Joe Webb is one of my favorite guests. He's on the road. He's driving Georgia to Florida, so he's on that 75 corridor.
Come on, Joe.
Yeah, and anyway, so we're going to talk about that today. But listen, call in. Make sure you call in. We had Jared McCreevy before we go to break and bring our guest on. We had Jared McCreevy weigh in. He weighed in. He said, read it.
I predict that dealers won't change.
That's awesome.
Hey, there's more. Vendors will stop using the word impressions. Carvana will start to be profitable, etc.
Oh, Lord.
So everything that,
first of all, if Cullen is listening, he's going to have an aneurysm right now. Coming in how they already are. Yeah. Profitable. It's funny. It's interesting that Jared said that, because I'm not kidding you. Today in the chat on this, kind of anticipating this topic today, we had several people that said something like that. I predict that 99% of the dealers won't change, that 1% will. And that sounds dogmatic. It sounds like it's negative. Possibly Jared didn't say it very negative. But some of the ones that said it were kind of like, or at least you never know when you retype, right?
Right. Sure.
You could be like, typing it all pleasant, but it sounds like you'd be like, you suck.
Right.
And the truth of the matter is, I hopefully that statistic is not true. Hopefully more than 1%.
Yeah, it's not going to true. Not going to hold true for 2018.
You think so? You think more going to change?
Yeah. I think we're evolving every day. So something else, real quick. Today's a special day for someone out there that's a very close friend of the show. It's been on the show many times, but it's Frank Lopes' birthday. So I want to say happy birthday to Frank Lopes.
Paisan, happy birthday,
Frank Lopes.
Frank Lopes.
Why don't we just jack everybody's name up?
Huh?
Frank Lopez. Why don't we just jack everybody's name? Frank Lopez, happy birthday.
Frank Lopez, happy birthday.
Also,
Lopez.
Jason Laptop, his birthday's today too.
Jason from
Laptop.
Laptop. Jason Rice.
Hey, why don't you text Jason and tell him to call in, man, so we can sing him happy birthday. Tommy can sing him happy birthday.
Hey Frank, if you're watching, call in. We'll sing
Frank.
happy birthday to you. We'll let Tommy do that.
I've been warming up my crooner voice all day. So
there you go.
You thought you were going to try to get me get me, but you didn't.
Hashtag
All right, so this is your time to share the feed. If you want to weigh in, make sure you call 813-574-1820. We'd like to see more than your Facebook comments. We'd like to hear your beautiful voice. Call in. Give us your 2018 predictions, marketing driven. If you have predictions based on, what the car business, the forecast is, is subprime going to get stronger? Is, are the manufacturers going to get more aggressive? Are we going to see lender relationships change?
Flying cars.
Are we all going to be flying in drones with
There
from
you
Google?
go. There you go.
Google flying
So
cars.
e-commerce, where's it going in the car business? So we'd like to hear your predictions. If you're salespeople out there, we want to hear your predictions on, how branding. I noticed this, that salespeople, this is the year right now, the second half of this year, that salespeople have really stepped their game up amazingly. I want to hear it. Sean Hayes, you got the sales hustlers out there, man. Call in. Let's give some predictions on the car business.
How about some predictions about where you'll be personally at the end of 2018? Maybe you're looking for a jump this year, and maybe a promotion, maybe something like that. Let's talk about that as well.
Absolutely. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with the episode 299. 2018 change, baby. 2018 prediction change. Huh?
I said, blah, blah.
All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Chip Perry. The pledge was and is an action plan designed to address head-on the concerns that many of you told me about right after I took this job. Thus far, our dealer pledge has been aimed at fixing the major pain points that you told us about related to our product, our customer service, and our consumer advertising. I'd like to reiterate that our dealer pledge is our ongoing commitment to you, our dealer customers, and we will continue to work hard to improve our service to you.
All right, guys, welcome back to Auto Dealer Live. I'm Dave Villa. I'm here with
Dave Cribbs.
and
Tommy Elwell.
this is episode 299. Guys, 300 is coming up next week. Come on, somebody.
I remember when I remember when this show was knee-high to a grasshopper.
You were here. You weren't on the show, but you were working here.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Becky Ferris. Alyssa Kispart said, dealers may not change, and that's why sales professionals have to. You have to stand out, brand yourself, and be different, be exciting, make someone want to buy from you. That sounds like somebody, Alyssa Kispart, that's determined to do it, regardless of what. All right? Hey, let's bring our guest on. What do you guys say?
Let's do it.
Cribbs, as always, I'm going to throw the first question to you, baby. I know you got something like revving hot, right? And we got Kylan Anderson. If I said it wrong, I always do. And he's with Dixon's friendliest car guy at Gay Family Kia. That just jacked his whole intro up. Jim DeLuca, the VP of the Digital Road to a Sale. And we want to ask Jim, too, about his whole little deal. Like he says that, certain kind of selling is dead and it's only a certain kind of selling is living. And we got Eric Mills, co-founder at Dealer Teamwork. And we have Joe Webb on the road, driving from Georgia to Florida, right? Listen to country music, Georgia, Florida line. Owner at Dealer Knows. And we got him in his car driving. And gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Cribbs, why don't you go ahead and throw this thing out there, man?
Well, let's go to Joe. He's on the road, traveling on his way to Florida. Hey, Joe, how are you doing, sir? Sounds good.
Joe Webb.
Doing great, Cribbs.
We might have lost him.
All right, let's go to
Might
Jim
have.
DeLuca. Let's go to Jim DeLuca. Jim, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. I appreciate that. Dave just mentioned that you've been outspoken about maybe what's kind of dead. I don't know if that's the road to the sale or the sales process, but let's talk about that for a moment and also weigh in on predictions for 2018.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, I'm not suggesting that sales consultants are going to be running around willy-nilly. What I am suggesting, and I truly believe, is that the traditional sales process, the 7 or 8 step process, is dead. And I base that on a number of factors. Number one, AutoTrader published a study last year that said 76% of people in North America select the vehicle that they're going to buy before they grace the showroom floor. So we should be closing at a rate that's much higher than it is now. Google recently said that the number one determining factor for what people will buy after doing research online is the experience that they have when on the web. And they're not going to be comparing one car dealer to another car dealer. They're going to be comparing car dealers to the best experience that they have online. So for me personally, that would be Amazon. Amazon provides me with the absolute best guaranteed experience when I'm purchasing something. So for the average consumer, they're going to be comparing their experience with dealership A to Amazon or some other platform that they really like. So the reality is we're entering into an experience-based economy, and the dealers that provide the best experience are the ones that are going to sell more cars. So if, for example, and I'll use my girlfriend, who recently was in the market for a Nissan Rogue. We had looked at one of my clients, and we didn't get the opportunity to drive it.
Is that similar to a Nissan, by the way?
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian. So you said Nissan. Is that similar to a Nissan, Jim? Just making sure.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
It's similar. The Canadian version.
Go ahead, Jim.
So she went to a dealer, and she was greeted on the showroom floor, and the sales consultant brought her back to the office and did a needs analysis. Meanwhile, she's burning up because she had done her research online, she had selected a vehicle from their inventory, and all she wanted to do was have him pull the car out so she could drive it. Now, if he had negated the traditional process and said something to the effect, have you selected the vehicle from our inventory, or would you like me to help you select one? When she said, yes, I have, great. Have a seat in our lounge. I'll get you something to drink and allow me to go pull the vehicle up for you. That's what I mean by the traditional sales process is dead. Had they provided that level of experience, she may very well have bought the car on the spot. But because he took her into her office, asked her a bunch of irrelevant questions, she will never go back to that dealership again. This is the experience age, and dealers have to strive to provide better experiences, and they have to share those experiences online, whether that be in the form of reviews or in the form of the content that they're publishing on their social platforms. We are in the experience age, and those that provide the best experience are going to win the deals.
Yeah, I think those are great points, Jim, and I do agree with your observations. And let's go to Kalan real quick. And Kalan, as someone who is there when the customer shows up, how are you interacting with the customer in the kind of scenario that Jim just created? How are you responding? How are you finding out if they're a little further along in the process? Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's, Jim made a very valid point. One of the first things I do when I'm, doing the customer interview or talking with the customer is ask them if they've already kind of selected a vehicle. And, I kind of base my whole process, per se, around having the customers having a good experience. And Jim, I know, touched on that a lot. And that's really what I focus around. I even kind of created a hashtag customers come first guarantee, where I kind of focus my whole process on catering to the customer, but also being there as a consultant. Just, they may have came in looking for one specific car, but then they realized from their research online that maybe that wasn't the right car for them, and you help them along with the process. But I try to cater to my customers' wants and needs as much as possible. And today they they feel they know what they want. They need a little bit more than maybe they had in the previous because of all the information available. But that's kind of, I just really try to make the process as smooth and easy and as comfortable for the customer, because they really want that comfort when they come into a dealership, so they can really lower their guard so they're not as scared.
Okay, and let me throw this. Let me throw this out there too. So we had a question came in, Jim, on Facebook, and you may know Melissa Vascott. She said, "Please mention I've already purchased 2 vehicles from the U.S. and imported them. The dealership experience you're speaking of was archaic." What do you have to say to that? Jim, maybe comment back on that, because that's some of the comments that are coming in, and I want to make sure that we get some of these in. Do you have a response to that, Jim?
His girlfriend, Melissa.
Well, first and foremost, Linda is the Cafe that we're referring to, and the vehicles actually had current bought online from this the experience that he had online.
You're breaking up, Jim. Can you hear us? You're breaking up. We'll come back to you in a second on that. Let me go to Eric. Eric, you started this conversation. We'll come back to you on that in a second, Jim. Just it was breaking up and we couldn't hear the
Can I say
comments.
something to Eric? And we can bring Eric.
Well,
into
Eric's
the
the one that
conversation.
brought the video up a couple weeks ago when he sent it out. He's the one that got the dialogue going and had some predictions too. Just so you know, he's
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, if you wanna interject on what you already reached out about, that'd be great, Eric. But what I was gonna ask too is, and I've heard some of the gurus, if you will, that don't have to be named in the business, saying that we're gonna have to change the way we do things, the sales process, or the way we communicate with our prospects and so forth. What do you see, Mr. Eric Milch? What do you see 2018 looking like? Give us some of your predictions, sir.
Yeah, I think I'll go a step earlier than Jim. I agree the showroom process has to change, but let's talk about how we're going to get those people into the showroom first, okay? Let's look at the facts. About 63% of all automotive shoppers are starting their process on mobile. So obviously they want this information quicker. They're looking for more relevant experiences. They're looking for the answers to their question. So the problem that exists that all dealers are experiencing, and keep in mind, guys, I'm also tied in with a dealer group here in Rochester where we've got 4 stores, Auto Outlets USA. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is when I'm talking about this stuff, and I'm not just theorizing about it. So the point of it is we've got to get relevant content out there. So I think there's going to be a massive shift, and we're already starting to see the underpinnings of it happening right now. And by that, I'm talking about the transactional data that's out there, the people that are in market. So if I'm in there, if I'm a customer and I'm shopping for Ford Explorer lease, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a monthly lease payment, and it's very, very difficult for marketers and the dealers right now to be able to do that efficiently. And I think you're going to see a massive change with that type of approach, being able to give the answers quick, and give the relevant content, and then drive them back to that relevant landing page as easily and simply as possible. Because that's going to now lead to the next wave of predictions that I feel we're going to see analytics get easier and easier and simpler and to use and understand. Because right now, people just, it's a clouded issue right now with regards to what type of content and what type of metrics they're really looking at. And I think the theme should just simply be metrics that matter. And again, I'm looking at the activity in our stores as well, guys. So things like the phone calls, obviously through mobile, obviously the lead forms. I don't give a crap about my time on site and my impressions and things like that. I want metrics that matter. It goes back to DISC. Does it sell cars? That's what we really need to focus in on. I think that there's going to be a massive change with that, with regards to how this data is coming in and how we're analyzing that, and really just how we're taking it in. It's going to completely change, and things like Google Data Studio are going to make that even easier. Just being able to pull in those metrics, and I think after that, going back a little bit to what Jim said with regards to the showroom experience, the things that truly matter, your TOs, your test drives, just the showroom process stuff that's actually going to sell the cars.
Yeah, do we have Joe on the line now? Or?
No, Joe.
Okay,
We're going to get Joe back on the line. Jay is. Yeah, I wanted Jay to call him with a question. Is he on now? Yep. Hey Jay, how you doing, man?
Not bad. About yourself?
Oh, doing wonderful. I know you're at the dealership and extremely busy, but you brought up a comment, and I don't want to get too far away from the from what you were commenting on earlier. I believe it was on what Jim was talking about, and why don't you go ahead and just maybe bring that up, ask that question, make your comment there. And I think it was something that was worth bringing up.
Well, when I hear these surveys thrown around all the time, like some of them just make me stop for a second. It said whatever that outrageous percentage was of people know exactly what car they want to buy. I'd like to know what city or pool of people that was, whether it be new car customers, used car customers, or what, that they surveyed. Because the only reason it dawned on me to comment that is literally today, I had a guy in my office that we're selling 2 cars to. That it took about 3 days, and he wanted me involved, even though I don't know him that well. But I met him last time he bought a car. The guy buys like 5 or 6 vehicles a year. He's got business and personal and everything, and he's bringing up questions like, I kind of want to buy a 2-wheel drive truck, though. I mean, how much less is it? Like, should I buy one or should I buy the 4x4? And like they just, it doesn't matter how much is online. The human experience that we're still feeling in Fenton, Michigan, is that they want to talk to the person that's here, that they can have a relationship with and get an opinion. I mean, all the facts in the world are out there, but I mean, that was just a live situation today. So I hear some of those statistics, and I just, there's no way there was a big pool in Fenton, Michigan surveyed, because I get people every single day that just need guidance, and they want it. They ask for the guidance.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, and I was thinking that when Jim was on earlier, that stat of 76% of people kind of decide what they want before they come in, and they may decide that, but that stat kind of is kind of changed once a customer gets there, I believe, because we know that over 80% of people that take delivery of something different than what they originally maybe called in on. So I think you're spot on. I mean, I think there's kind of there's some points to both. And then, I would also pose the question, and I'll ask you, Jay, real quick while you're on the line, but there's this idea in the auto industry that we want to do it the customer's sort of way. It's almost like we're transitioning to, hey, the customer experience. And although I'm big on having a great experience, I think that we know some things in the car business that the customer may not know. And when they get on the lot, that's when our expertise becomes important, and we're able to interview and ask the right questions and guide, like you said. And maybe there's a totally different outcome, but they can still have a great experience. What do you say?
Oh, I think that you're spot on. And the old saying, the salesman wants to be sold. I mean, there's that person. There's that person that literally wants you to go through from step 1 to 900 and hear it all. I like that. I like it when I go into a electronics store or something, and the kid's a guru, and he over talks a product or something, and I think that's awesome. And then yes, I agree with someone was saying archaic process and everything. I don't disagree one bit. There are more and more customers probably than before that are going to say, listen, I've leased 19 cars, in the past 40 years, and this is it. I've already picked it out and do it. Well, yeah, of course, you do need to listen, and your people need to be trained to listen to their requests and what they want. And if at any point in time they have doubt on what they want, you become that advocate and help them. But if they're just flat, this is what I want, I mean, and you argue that, well, that's your problem right there. I mean, make it fast, make it easy, sell them what they want. I mean, it's as simple as that. But yeah, there's still large different pools of customers on how to handle a transaction.
That's good.
Yeah, thank you, Jay. Thanks so much for calling in.
That's good.
I got a question when it comes to just like dealers and whoever wants to pick up this can. When you have, I know there's got to be, when it comes to marketing or the analytics of things, and I'm sure there has to be huge skepticism on the part of a dealer or somebody that's buying these products because of situations just like that, where you had, this percentage of this is this, and then somebody says, well, no, actually, my experience is just the opposite, or this. So when it comes down to how do we, in an age where arguably the digital components and elements are not going away, they're getting better, they're getting stronger, how do we trust, and how do we know who to trust? How do we know who to move forward with? How do we know what's real and what's not? Because I know so many people buy stuff and they don't even know what they're really getting. They don't really know what the ROI is. How do we going into 2018? How do we really fine tune that part of the business?
Do you have somebody you want to ask that?
No, that's to anybody. If Jay
I'll jump on that right away, guys. That's exactly what I was saying with regards to the analytics getting simpler in terms of the metrics that matter. That's how you're truly gonna know in the very, very short term. And obviously there are some vendors that are already doing it now. They are able to actually give you the metrics that matter in terms of your actual stats that are converting. What's helping you. Take a look at some of the true numbers that Google's actually been able to pull out, for instance, just from from in-market shopping behavior. They're saying that almost 75% of in-market shoppers don't even fill out a form right now. And even it's about, I think it's like 67% of those people don't even chat. So again, what we're seeing is these customers are doing more and more research online. We've all known that. That's simple. But what's happening now, just like I said before, we're putting more transactional data. We're putting more relevant content in. And then as dealers and marketers start doing that, we're going to arm these people with even more information. And they're going to come in. They're going to know exactly what they want. And what's that going to lead to? That's going to lead to Jim's point previously, that you're going to have to be prepared to be able to handle these people. They didn't call. They didn't do chat. They didn't send out a lead form, but they know exactly what they want because they got the actual info. They know exactly where their starting point is for a lease price or for a used car payment, because we're able, and again, guys, I'm doing this right now in our market. We're putting out paid ads that show our price and our payments on these vehicles.
Yeah.
There's no need for them to call us. There's no need for them. They'll come right down. And I've seen it with my own two eyes. They come in with their phone in their hand, showing us the vehicle with the actual ad. Yeah, that's what's converting.
Hey, Kyle, let me go to you real quick. Sean Hayes said, he commented here just a couple minutes ago. He said, look, I understand people don't like the old process, but to say that 80% of people buy the car they picked out online is not the truth. What do you say about that? You're on the ground. You and Sean are both, aggressive, very successful, highly branded salespeople. Sean's saying that. Do you agree?
So I'm not real good with percentages. I haven't sat down and done my own market research to give a good percentage. But I would say a majority. I would say it's kind of, when I sit down with my customers and I ask them, hey, have you kind of picked out a vehicle? I don't immediately go and run and grab that vehicle. I kind of ask them what they like about that vehicle, because they may have been looking for a feature that vehicle doesn't have, and I say, look, both the headache. So I think it's one of those things that you have to cater to the customers. And as a sales professional, we have to be able to, if the customer says, hey, I want this car, awesome. Did you know this car, just be able to know what that car has, be able to communicate with the customer and be able to cater to them, but still go through our process, because we still have a job we have to do. And if we're going out there and showing them the wrong car because they accidentally picked out the wrong car, then we need to be able to be flexible with it. And I don't know an exact percentage of people who are ready to, they buy the exact car they want. But I think that as we continue to grow and as our customers get smarter and smarter, we also have to, I think it was mentioned before, that we also have to consult them. When they come in, they're coming to talk to us because they want to look at a vehicle, and we just got to make sure it's the right fit for their needs and for what their wants are. And, I don't know the exact percentage, but yeah, I have customers coming in that they want the exact car and absolutely perfect, no problem, and we sell them that car. But then we also have customers that come in and say, oh, wait, I don't want the navigation. I don't want leather. I want cloth. So that car I don't need, and then you save them a bunch of money. Yeah. So it kind of goes both ways.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And Jared McCreevy said, Cribbs, to your point, he said, Cribbs, I agree that dealers are adapting more and more, but I fully believe it is at a snail pace, like the military hurry up and wait. It takes them forever to make a change for the better because they are afraid of taking risk.
Yeah, well, I think we're overcomplicating things to a big degree. I mean, I love the analytics. I love, staying up with the what customers are looking for, what they're experiencing online. I'm a big believer in that's where our showrooms are at. We know that people are there prior to coming in, but I think that we need to stay conscious of the fact that there's still a sales process. We just need to be savvy enough to know and interview a customer and find out where they're at in the process, and then be the expert on how to guide them through that. Let's go back to Jim real quick, DeLuca, and kind of giving you an opportunity to respond to some of the things that have been said already. The 76% of people that you mentioned before that have picked out a car.
Can I say something to piggyback on your question for Jim?
Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Jim, I want you to finish your question, but I want you to insert into this too, Jim. And I'm asking this, because obviously I know that, and I don't mean to call you out on this or for your answer to call yourself out on this, but I mean, are you saying the word dead, for instance, to also take it far to the extreme? Meaning, in other words, is it really dead, Or is it like, hey, this is something that I'm starting to see some trends? I mean, you're going. I think what you're doing is you're getting some of the controversy maybe because there's people that are saying, wait, it's not dead to me, And so, I mean, is dead too extreme, Jim? Maybe segue that into your question.
Yeah, Jim, and let's talk about that again. Going back to kind of defending your statistic of 76% have chosen what they want to see before they come in. That may be the case, but we talked about the fact that when they get there, that might change. Statistically, it seems that that's the case. But let's go back to give you an opportunity to respond to what Dave just mentioned. I mean, is the rest of it dead? I mean, where are we at here?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. And first and foremost, I stand corrected. I have the Trader study in front of me. It was actually 72% select the vehicle they're going to buy before they arrive at the dealership. But really, we're spending so much time debating that number and whether or not it's relevant. I don't know where Trader did the study, but what I do know is Google saying is that we are moving into an experience-based economy, and the number one determining factor as to where people are going to buy. And let's face it, we can talk about all the analytics in the world and how difficult they are or how easy they are to understand. If I had a dealership, I'd be interested in one analytic, taillights over the curb. So if we're going to drag people through an antiquated process when they've already made the selection, and I don't care if it's 72%, 52%, or 10%, we need to determine, based on guided discovery, where they're at in the process and begin that process there, as opposed to dragging people through an antiquated process that's irrelevant. Something I think that is really important is the value of time. And one of the things that YouTube did was quantify the value of 5 seconds. 20 years ago, if I asked David Villa for 5 seconds of his time, that would be irrelevant. But when
How
you
many years
sit in
ago?
front of a YouTube
How many years ago?
watching
20
that
years ago.
5-second commercial, that's an eternity. So we can't waste people's time. We have to provide them with the answers to their question immediately. No more withholding information. Give people relevant experience based on their needs. Does that require needs determination? Absolutely. All I'm saying is the old, get them to my office, do the needs analysis, rapport building is irrelevant in an era where people can select the exact vehicle that they want online. And in the conversation before we went live, we were talking about Carvana and whether or not they're going to be profitable this year. Let's look at how many units that they're putting over the curb with, where people are selecting the vehicle online and having it delivered to their home. This is a growing trend. And I'm not trying to be controversial or to, bend people out of shape. I understand, Sean Hayes, fan is, he's got boots on the ground. He might have a different experience. But in general, the dealer that provides the best experience, the dealer that gets the best reviews, the dealer that understands the customer's needs and gives them exactly what they want is going to get the taillights over the curb at the end of the day.
We got a caller coming in. And I'd like to, and I'm not disputing anything. We're moderators here. Our opinion really is, somewhat irrelevant. It's not irrelevant, but because I could be swayed. Sure. But I think maybe what Sean's saying, and I think Sean's speaking from on the ground of his experience. So I'm not really. I think that maybe he's speaking from the standpoint of this is what I'm experiencing, this is what I'm seeing. So I think that you're going to have those differences in opinion. We do have a caller, Lou?
Yeah, we have Jared McGreevy on the line.
Jared McGreevy, let's bring him on. Jared, what's up, my friend?
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's going on? I see you weighing in on Facebook, and you brought in a comment recently about the buying process and where are you. Why don't you go ahead and maybe pose that question or comment to the panel, and you can address it to either Kyle and Jim or Eric or all three or whatever.
Yeah, I know Cribbs is talking about it, and it's where we do have a sales process, and I'm a firm believer that you have to have some kind of a process in place to stay consistent and know exactly where you need to be and what to do to be better and sell more cars. So what if we had a way of asking customers, where are you at in the process? Do you know what you want? Do you want to drive it now? Do you need to sit down and discuss what the options are available? Or do you just want to have your vehicle that you drove in here today appraised? Instead of, like Jim was saying, that him and his girlfriend went and sat down and the guy tried doing a needs analysis, even though she knew what she wanted and she just wanted to drive it, and they sat her in a room for a while before they even gave her that opportunity. And I've heard of many people saying the same thing, like, I wanted to drive this car, I came in to drive it, but they sat me down in the dealership for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour before I could even see it.
Right.
And it just puts a bad taste in their mouth. Now, it doesn't happen with everybody, but that's part of the needs analysis to try to find out quickly, where are you at? Do you want to drive now? And they have to be able to know that you can't just go from step 1, step 2, step 3, all the way through to step 10, or however many steps you have. Sometimes you have to go from step 1 to step 5, down to step 2 to step 7, back and forth, and to know that you need to jump around sometimes to make the process fit how the customer wants to buy a car.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Jared. Great comments, and I'll kind of go back to.
There was something I wanted to.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Tommy.
Well, go ahead. You finish your thought.
Okay.
It's off the screen.
Let's
now.
go. Let's go to Kalan real quick. Back to Kalan.
Thank you, Jared.
by
by
the
way.
yeah, thank you, Jared. Jared makes some great points. Yeah, Jared makes some great points, and I think ultimately, to kind of summarize, Jared's point is, hey, meet them where they are, find out where they're at, and accommodate them quickly. But let's talk about it, Kalan. What are you finding when people come in, whether they've come in on a particular car, or they come through the internet, whatever the case may be? What are you finding when they actually arrive? Is it is it in the best interest just to kind of go their direction, or how do you feel about salesperson's skills and being able to meet that customer? Being able to meet that customer where they're at, and then kind of take them to a place where, you're going to wind up with a delivery. Talk about that for a moment.
So I think that a lot of that comes with just having communication skills and just sitting down and asking the right questions. And, I don't have a list of the questions. It just depends on each client. But, some of the questions I'm going to ask them, similar to what Jared was just on the phone, just talking about with just having communication skills and just sitting down and asking the right questions, and then just talking about how, what they're looking for, what their goals are. If you sit down and talk to a customer, just start asking what's important to them. Everybody walks into the dealership with a purpose and a reason. And if you sit there and you ask them, what is your purpose and your reason for being here, and you're genuine about it, I feel they're going to be able to open up and tell you what they're there for, so that you're able to come to, to accomplish their goal of getting the vehicle they want, and also being able to, make a sell. But I really cater to just understand the customer's needs, understanding what their needs and wants are, and it just really makes the process smooth and easy. I've perfected that over the last 5 years of being in the car industry, and it's really made my process now that it's super smooth and easy, and very little hiccups.
Eric, we got a caller too, but you're starting some sales guys. Seems like a lot of sales guys or internet guys that are, a lot of times we think sometimes the statistics or some of the people that are unwilling to change or slow to change are the dealers and some of the upper management. But you have some sales guys that are weighing in, Eric, on your statistics. And again, it's not about the number, I guess. Sean Lyons can't call in working a deal, but Sean is the Internet Sales Director, Academy Ford in the Panhandle, Florida, formerly at Thompson Toyota. He said, we all hear about these buying statistics, but where do they come from? Does Google or Cars.com interview every customer that buys a car? He said, learn your market and adjust your processes accordingly. And I think that it'd be hard pressed to argue with that. Yeah. Because, right? That's statistic, but...
Yeah, and another question I have, and I really want to direct this to Eric, but Eric, can a customer come into a dealership that uses a traditional sales process, and can that customer have a good experience?
Well, I honestly think they could. Again, you get somebody that's at least has some charisma and has a pulse, and they're going to be able to, they're going to be able to walk the person through a basic conversation and understand what it is that that customer might be looking for. But yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't be. But with regards to anybody that may have an issue or want to try to take topic, debate that topic in terms of any of the numbers. It's very simple how Google gets any of their statistics. They've got analytics on all of our sites. They know what the in, out, and near market and buyers are doing. They know what the cohort analysis is. They see this stuff. That's how they're getting these numbers. But again, the fact of the matter is, true. It's going to be different in every market, in every store. But again, I mean, I've got access to a lot of data myself. Yeah, and I'm actually seeing this stuff happen day to day in our stores as well. Yeah, and again, I see it from the largest groups in the country all the way down to independents. Yeah, and again, it's going to come down to that simple mantra that I said in the beginning, just in terms of being able to make a very, very simple digital marketing process online that's going to bleed into a very simple process in the store. And again, I've been saying this now for a long time, that the entire digital marketing process should make your site easy to use and a maze. It shouldn't become a maze. And that's what we've made it. We've overcomplicated it with product stacking, lack of processes, and just a convoluted process both online and with all the products that everybody's bought. It needs to be simplified back, look at the metrics that matter, and then just take a look at the simple process that you're following in the experience to deliver. I don't think it's any more difficult than that. And again, we're executing at this, with a small used car group that we started 2 years ago, 4 simple stores. We got about 500 cars on the ground, do a couple hundred cars a month, and it isn't rocket science.
Perfect. Got a caller too.
Okay, we have a caller, Lou.
Yes, we do. It's
who's
going
on
to be Tony D.
Tony D, a great person to weigh in on this topic. Tony D, you've heard some of the things that we've been talking about on the show today. We're also asking to weigh in on 2018 predictions, but go ahead. What's your question or comment?
I got a lot of them. Did anybody see the Automotive News article talking about, even regardless of the amount of online research before they ever enter the store, that customers still want to deal with the salesperson when they walk in? We always need to take things like that into consideration. And Dave, you just asked, a customer who comes into a traditional process store, can they still have a good experience? And I think it was Eric came back and said, well, there's a good chance if they run into the right salesperson. Well, in lies the problem, is running into the right salesperson. And Dave, you also brought it up. So many customers have done so much research. They have a general idea of what they're looking for. Some are very specific, especially when we start looking into the sports car, exotic, luxury market. They have very, very specific things. But then the mass audience, and this is what we're finding in a lot of the dealerships that we're working with here at the Academy, is that they've done their research, but they still need to get together with a good professional salesperson and find out, one, where they are in the buying process, and two, somebody else brought this up, what interests them most about that car? Do they just like it because of the fuel economy, or do they want all the nav and the technology and the roof and leather, or do they just want a good, safe, reliable car with good fuel economy to protect themselves and their family? So that needs analysis or interview or whatever you want to call it is still critical in today's market, by not having the customer start all over when they walk back into the dealership. And so when that customer who has done their research walks into a more traditional dealership, that they're qualified on the lot, or come on over, let me help you fill out a credit app real quick so we can give you the right red, yellow, or green balloon. Right. We may, they're not going to have a good experience at that dealership. And we're starting to see more and more dealerships starting to trend over and starting to not fight the internet-educated customer. And that's what we specialize here at the Academy, is processes and techniques all designed around today's internet-educated customer. And I saw a very interesting stat yesterday or the day before that talked about 40+%, I think that was the number, 40+% of customers who originally engaged on a new vehicle end up buying a pre-owned, and when it goes past 30, let alone 60 days, that number just continues to increase. And then something is said on the same way after 30 days on people who were looking at pre-owned, they flip to new cars after 30 days. Okay. So something for us all to be aware of.
Yeah, thank you, Tony D. Thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate your input. We always do. Real quick comment on Facebook, and then we have another caller, I believe. Jonathan Dawson says, just because a client starts online doesn't mean they are transactional or practical buyers. They reveal who they are based on if we just pay attention and ask the right questions, hashtag know your client. I totally agree. I think we've been covering that as well, but go ahead, Dave, we have a caller.
Yeah, we do. I don't know who it is, so let's bring our caller on. Who
We have Frank J. Lopes.
Happy birthday. Go ahead, T.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, Frank Lopes, happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah.
You didn't look a day over 75, so congratulations.
Good for you.
How you doing, my friend?
Thank you, guys. I'm hiding the fact that I'm 80 very well. Thank you.
Hey, comment, man, on the birthday boy commenting. I'm not sure if you had a chance to listen to the show, or if just maybe. But we're talking about predictions in the car business. We're talking about change. I know you were fresh off the Rockstar Auto Conference. Maybe you heard something there that you want to bring into the conversation here. Take a minute or so and share maybe some of your predictions.
Well, I'll tell you one prediction that it's already coming true, but I think we're going to see it come a lot more to the forefront in the year to come. Is that I think we're going to see a lot of the buying process move out of the showroom of the dealership. I think you're going to see dealers doing a lot more of bringing cars to people's homes, bringing it to their work, bringing it to wherever it is that the customer is, trying to make it more accommodating and to make it more convenient for the dealer to shop to where they don't have to, where they don't have to come into the store and, invest an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours into test driving cars and stuff, where they don't have to do things like come into the store and take the car off the lot and take it home to see if it fits in the garage. We're going to see a lot more of dealers taking their inventory right directly to the customer, with either a salesperson doing that, or a product demonstrator, or somebody of multi-purpose wind up doing that. And I think that's also going to wind up making it so that the transactional process online is going to grow. Okay. So we're going to wind up having it so that a customer is going to wind up looking at the car at their own home, and then either a salesperson or a BDC person or somebody is going to say, okay, great. If you want to, you can speed up the process even more by going on my website and going to this page and filling out your credit application, and then going to this page and putting in all the information about your trade.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much, Frank. Again, happy birthday. And we have another caller. We're going to get to the closing remarks. We're going to give Kyle and Jim and Eric a chance to close up here. But I want to bring Jonathan Dawson's on the phone with us. Jonathan, what's up, my friend? We saw a couple of your comments on Facebook, and why don't you share with us verbally?
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to share. So, first of all, I wanted to share that I noticed some of the comments, and that's why I chimed in, about the customer is this way and the customer is that way and the customer is going to become this way. I think we still have to recognize it's always going to be a people business based on how people react in any context or any kind of experience that they're given. So a person may start out a certain way, but the sales professional, through the experience given, can change the state of the buyer. And so, as I commented, people are going to fall into categorically different temperaments when they go into the selling, or in this case, the buying process. I mentioned there's going to be transactional buyers who initially start out thinking mathematically. They think, what's the best price I can buy it for, and that's my focus. Then you have relational buyers who want to actually have a conversation with a person. They want to feel known. They want to know who they buy from. Who they buy from matters to them. Well, that's a kind of almost an opposite of a transactional buyer. If you treat everybody transactionally, you offend the relational buyers. If you treat everybody relationally, you offend the transactional buyers. Same thing with a pragmatic or practical buyer. Some people are utilitarian in their approach. They're just trying to solve a very specific problem, and that's really all they care about, and it's very logistical to them. Whereas other people are very emotional. It's very exciting. They're trying to get their first new car. They're trying to get a car associated with a symbolic gesture like a promotion in their life, or something's happened and they want to celebrate it. If you make it all just about the specs, you bore the crap out of those people. So you can't just say every buyer is going to be this way in the future. Instead, I think the professional salesperson learns to ask the right questions and then tailor a structured process that meets the client where they are and takes them through the process effectively. One of my general managers I worked with for a long time, he said, we need to have rigid flexibility in our approach. And I think that's really a strong lesson for any dealer or manager or salesperson. Have rigid flexibility. Have a process, but never elevate your process over the person you're serving in that process. And I think that's a mistake a lot of times dealers make, trying to put everybody into one category. It's just, that's not humanity.
Yeah, great points. Great points, Jonathan.
Mike
Thank you
Phillips
so much
online
for calling
said,
in.
actually,
Thank you.
not non-traditional. It will
There you go.
return to traditional relationship selling. You had Mabel, who, go real quick. Mabel chimed in, Mabel Peralta, and said that she does virtual deliveries. I make sure all the financial discussions are done before they come in, so when they do come in, it's all about the car. People weighing in left and right. No one has the answer.
Jay Lasco with
God
all the hubbub. Jay Lasco with all the hubbub about mobile technology replacing dealerships. You should think that parts of the experience, like purchase, pre-purchase test drives and delivery walkarounds, were fading into relics of the past. Not so. It turns out car buyers really do. And then he put an article in there. I encourage you to go down and click on that link. And he put an article.
JD Power. All right, so let's do this, guys. Everyone, thank you so much for your time.
We can get in the closing remarks.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll let everybody wrap it up. I know Jim, I think, was trying to say something.
He asked on Facebook. He's on the phone.
He virtually raised his hand on Facebook.
He's a guest on the show, and he's raising his hand on Facebook. Go ahead, Jim.
So, Jim, go ahead. Speak your mind, sir.
I got Brett bringing up the Auto Trader statistic because it really derailed the conversation. I was brought on to talk about the future of automotive, and I agree with Frank Lopes. More of the transaction is going to take place online. I also agree with my friend Jonathan. We have to be able to treat every customer individually and adapt our process to meet their needs. But the bottom line is the winner 2018 is going to be the dealer that provides the best online experience. So, concierge, bring the vehicle to the customer, bring it to their business, bring it to their favorite coffee shop, is going to win over the guy that drags the customer in kicking and screaming. The dealer that merchandises vehicles with interactive videos like Spin Car, for example, is going to win over the guy that has still photographs or is using repurposed photographs from the manufacturer. The dealer that responds to every lead with a video is going to provide a better experience than the guy that is using text or email. That's what I understood this show was about. It's about providing the best online experience. That's what's going to win the deal. That's what's going to put taillights over the curb, which is, in fact, the most important metric that we can look at.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, boom. Yeah, absolutely.
Drop the mic.
Come on, Jim DeLuca.
All right, so let's go to Kalan. Kalan, closing comments, please.
I just want to thank you guys for allowing me to be on the show again. And I think as we, look at all these different statistics and we look at all these different scenarios that we're looking at, as Jonathan mentioned, we are still in the people business. And some of those others, I'm reading the comments that mentioned, we're still in the people business. And we have to remember that each individual person is going to react differently. And that as we go throughout, the next year, 2018, that people are still people. And that if we treat them as such and we treat them with the respect that they deserve when they come into our dealership, regardless if they're buying a $1,000 cash car or a $500,000, vehicle, we can still treat them like humans. And I believe that is really what's going to make a difference in 2018, that we realize that these people want to be treated like people and they want to be treated with respect. And I think that's going to make a big difference in 2018.
All right. Thank you so much, Kalan. And we'll go to Eric.
Eric Milch to wrap it up.
Yeah, I was just saying one thing real quick, guys, especially for pretty much everybody in the industry that's obviously selling used cars as well. New car dealers, too, should really, really pay attention to this. There's about 4 million lease returns that came due this year. There's another 4.2 million or so coming due next year as well. And so, again, from a sales model standpoint, I think it's wise for everybody just to really take a look at what's happening in that segment, watch what their pricing models are, watch what their processes are, and more importantly, how they're marketing those vehicles out, through their marketing campaigns. Again, transactional data, payments, your savings to marketplace, your loan rates, just all the transactional data. Now, once they come in, obviously, like everybody is in agreement, we got to treat everybody individually. But the fact is, they're mobile first. They're coming in through those transactional elements. I don't think we're yet, in terms of a prediction, I don't think we're ready yet to see people actually buying their Toyota Camrys online. Click, like a Tesla style experience. I think that's the next phase after that. We just have to get used to what we're doing in terms of marketing this content out relevant, from a relevancy basis, and then being able to drive them in to a much better website experience. The online transactional data and transactional activity, that'll follow maybe later in 18. Who knows, maybe in 19, it'll be much more acceptable. But that's what I see.
All right.
Thanks again. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Well, continue. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Jim DeLuca, Kylan Anderson, and Eric Milch. Thank you guys so much. And Joe Webb, thanks for trying, man. I know you're on the road and you had a bad signal, but have a great weekend. And let me say this. So listen, guys, great show. But I want to get this out there. Why it's pinned to the top of our page here. My friend Chelsea Cross tonight and she's an expert. She speaks all over the place, and she specializes as an expert in millennial marketing, and really honestly marketing studying. General, yeah. She is a millennial, and she's specializes in marketing, but has a very strong stance and success path, and I guess history, right? Success in millennial marketing tonight at 7:00 Eastern.
Girl's got a resume.
Talking about 2.5 hours from right now. It's pinned to the top. It's free training to market to millennials. I want to give you a couple of things that she's going to be covering. We have a lot of millennials who watch this show, and guys, I'm going to tell you right now, she knows what she's doing. She's going to be talking about marketing tactics that convert, how to establish brand authority and a digital tribe. A marketing personalization, how to land press and speaking opportunities, how to utilize influencer marketing, how to craft your content to sell with a consumer journey map. But I can say one thing, not only does she speak everywhere, she was a speaker at NADA, I believe last year or the year before, but also recently she was one of Grant's speakers at 10X Growth Con. Really, really strong, and make sure you check it out. It's free, you can register. You have to register, so click on the link that's pinned to the top here and register. It's tonight. And I'd highly recommend it, and it's worth a lot, but it happens to be free.
Absolutely. And look here, Dave, as we close out the show, look what today's episode was, number
299.
299, which means the next one
is
400?
Yes.
400, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
No, hey, the next episode of Auto Dealer Live that you will see is number 300, right? We're doing the 300.
Come on, baby, 300. You realize we started our first show in February 2012. Not we, you guys didn't. You were working here. You weren't here. And but this is a 300 episode. We literally went back. We only missed a few episodes, and that was back in the first 2 or 3 years. And we've got, I don't even know who, our producers have been really going down the line, and we've got some incredible guests coming on. Well, they're going to be, we've got people just calling in and talking about Auto Dealer Live, talking about what it means. We're going to just have a really, really cool show. You don't want to miss it. Next week, I don't even really know what it's like.
Well, next week we're going to have Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. You don't want to miss next week either.
So there's a gap.
You don't want to miss next week.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to be taking a nap, watching football, and then taking a nap, and then getting back up and eating some more food.
Well, that's the cool thing. It's like a bye week in football. There's going to be no ADL for 1 week, so everybody's going to come back primed, ready for episode 300.
I heard there may or may not be a momentary return at least of slash tags for 300, maybe.
Ooh.
We'll see.
Ooh. You got a big mouth, you know that?
Yeah.
Well, I said may or may not. It hasn't been confirmed
yet.
yet.
You can't say that. That's like saying I might get you something.
Right.
I might get you something. I don't know. I might not. It depends if I go to Dollar Tree.
Hey,
all right, guys.
We want to say thanks again. Incredible guests, Kylan Anderson, Jim DeLuca, Eric Misch, and
make sure you guys go up and like and register for Chelsea's free training tonight.
Absolutely.
I promise you it'll be worth it. All right? Thank you guys.
Have a great Thanksgiving.
2 weeks.
God bless y'all.
Have a pleasant
Thanksgiving.
tomorrow.
Have a great Black Friday.
Black Friday.
Cyber
Some
Monday
cars.
and whole deal.